Welcome to Wellness and Mindfulness Digest 2026-0613. Today's 12 stories. Story 1, Breathwork and Nervous System Regulation. Story 2, Emotional Fitness Through Grounding, Natural Nervous System Regulation. Story 3, These Common Mistakes Are Keeping You from Coming into Handstand. Story 4, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, MBSR, Teacher Training, Brown University Info Session. Story 5, Viral Tongue Trick Claims to Melt Stress in 40 Seconds. Neurologists explain what's actually happening. Story 6, Breathwork Types, Nervous System Calming Practices. Story 7, Mindfulness Therapy, Enhancing Wellbeing Through Present Awareness. Story 8, Nadi Shodhana, Alternate Nostril Breathing for Focus and Mental Clarity. Story 9, Your Brain Changes After Just 7 Minutes of Meditation. Story 10, Insight Inside Us, How the Dharma Inspires Mindfulness-Based Approaches 2026. Story 11, Community can mean a lot of things. At some yoga studios, it means no boundaries. Story 12, How to Improve Concentration and Focus, 15 Research-Backed Tips. Story 1, Breathwork and Nervous System Regulation. In June 2026, the Buddhist Inquiry Organization is hosting a week-long online retreat that aims to do something increasingly rare in mainstream wellness culture: trace mindfulness back to its roots. The retreat, titled Insight Inside Us, runs from June 5th through June 12th on Zoom, and it centers on how the ancient insight, or Vipassana, meditation tradition has shaped and continues to inspire mindfulness-based stress reduction, and the broader family of mindfulness-based clinical approaches that have become ubiquitous in hospitals, schools, and corporate offices around the world. Over the past 45 years, dating back to John Kabat-Zinn's founding of MBSR at the University of Massachusetts Medical School in 1979, mindfulness has migrated from Buddhist monasteries into neuroscience labs, therapy offices, and Fortune 500 boardrooms. That migration has brought real benefits to millions of people, but it has also sparked a serious debate about whether something essential was lost in translation. Critics argue that stripping mindfulness from its ethical and philosophical context, including teachings on suffering, impermanence, and the nature of the self, reduces a profound contemplative system to a stress management technique. This retreat is, in part, a response to that concern. The curriculum is built around the 4 foundations of mindfulness and explicitly teaches the 4 noble truths and the 3 characteristics of existence, concepts rarely encountered in a standard 8-week MBSR course. Teachers will lead silent sitting meditation, walking meditation, Dharma talks, and mindful yoga, all embedded, as the program describes it, with the spirit of loving kindness. What makes this retreat particularly consequential is its structural role in the mindfulness ecosystem. It fulfills a prerequisite for many MBSR, MBCT, and other mindfulness-based approach teacher training programs, meaning the people attending are likely to become the next generation of clinical mindfulness instructors. If those teachers carry a deeper understanding of the dharmic foundations of their practice into classrooms, therapy rooms, and hospitals, the downstream effects on how mindfulness is taught and understood could be significant. The retreat is open to beginners and experienced practitioners alike, and Dharma talks will be recorded for later access. For anyone involved in the mindfulness field, whether as a practitioner, clinician, or teacher in training, this program represents an opportunity to engage with the question that may define the next chapter of the mindfulness movement. What do we lose, and what might we reclaim by remembering where this all began? Story 2, Emotional Fitness Through Grounding, Natural Nervous System Regulation. A piece published by Yoga Journal on June 12, 2026, is asking a question that cuts to the heart of how wellness communities actually function. What does it mean to belong, and what are we allowed to expect from the people we practice with? The author, writing as both a longtime yoga student and an active teacher at multiple studios, begins with a simple memory. Walking into her first yoga class in her 20s, struggling through boat pose, a stranger looked her in the eye and said, "You got this." That moment of uncomplicated human support is what she was chasing for years afterward. But what she found instead, in many yoga communities, was something more complicated: an unspoken social contract that conflated community with emotional openness, and openness with the absence of any limits at all. The article identifies 3 specific patterns that emerge when yoga studios prioritize feelings of closeness over structural clarity. First, teachers end up functioning as personal therapists, absorbing students' problems after class without any training, compensation, or consent. Second, students are implicitly expected to stay and socialize after every session as proof of their belonging. And third, teachers share their own personal struggles during class in ways that can make students feel responsible for managing a professional's emotional state. The author's argument is not that yoga spaces should become cold or transactional. It's the opposite. She believes that real, durable community is only possible when everyone in the space knows what's expected of them, trusts that their boundaries will be respected, and feels genuine agency over how much of themselves they share. As she puts it directly, true community isn't created because everyone feels close or there's boundaryless emotional openness. It's cultivated when everyone trusts they have agency, respect, and appropriate boundaries. To address this, she describes 5 concrete boundary practices that she has seen successfully implemented in studios where she teaches, covering everything from how teachers communicate their availability to how studios can normalize not staying after class without social penalty. For studio owners, teacher trainers, and anyone who has felt vaguely uncomfortable in a wellness space without being able to name why, this article offers both a diagnosis and a practical path forward. The yoga industry has long grappled with teacher burnout and student attrition. This piece suggests that part of the solution may be structural, not more openness, but more honesty about what community actually requires. Story 3. These common mistakes are keeping you from coming into Handstand. A March 2025 article from BetterUp, the professional coaching and mental fitness platform, takes on one of the defining challenges of modern knowledge work. The fact that in a world engineered for distraction, our ability to concentrate deeply has never been more important and never been under more pressure. Written by Sam Chia and expert reviewed by Roger Lee, the piece opens with a scenario almost anyone in a knowledge work role will recognize. You're sitting at your desk, deadline looming, motivation present, and yet progress feels impossible. Your mind simply won't cooperate. The article's diagnosis is that this experience isn't a personal failing. It's the predictable result of an information environment designed to fragment attention, compounded by what the authors describe as AI-driven escalation of productivity expectations. As AI makes workers more efficient at routine tasks, the pressure to deliver more, faster, has intensified, and that pressure itself undermines the sustained concentration it demands. One of the article's most useful contributions is a clean conceptual distinction that often gets blurred in everyday conversation. Focus, the authors explain, is directional. It's the ability to choose where to point your attention, like a mental spotlight. Concentration is what happens after that choice. The sustained, deep engagement that keeps you on task long enough to actually finish something. You need both, but they are trainable in different ways, and crucially, neither is fixed. The capacity to concentrate, the article argues, is not determined solely by genetics or neurological wiring. It can be strengthened through deliberate practice, lifestyle changes, and the right environmental design. The article promises 15 research-backed strategies for doing exactly that, covering everything from reducing digital distractions to leveraging intellectual challenge and time pressure as natural concentration enhancers. The connection to flow states, those periods where work feels effortless and time dissolves, gives the piece an aspirational quality that goes beyond productivity hacks into genuine human performance. For managers, coaches, educators, and anyone navigating an increasingly demanding cognitive landscape, this piece offers both a useful framework and a reassuring premise. Your ability to concentrate is not a fixed ceiling. It is a skill, and like all skills, it responds to training. Story 4, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, MBSR, Teacher Training, Brown University Info Session. Brown University's School of Professional Studies hosted a June 2026 information session on its MBSR teacher training program, signaling continued institutional investment in evidence-based mindfulness education. MBSR remains the most clinically validated mindfulness program for stress reduction and emotional well-being. This is relevant for both practitioners and those interested in deepening their mindfulness training. Story 5. Viral tongue trick claims to melt stress in 40 seconds. Neurologists explain what's actually happening. Neurologists weigh in on a viral stress relief technique, using it as a springboard to explain the validated science behind controlled breathing and parasympathetic nervous system activation. The article promotes evidence-based methods including progressive muscle relaxation, meditation, and controlled breathwork over anecdotal trends. It offers a helpful, grounded corrective to wellness misinformation. Story 6. Breathwork types, nervous system calming practices. Glow's Breathwork library covers a range of techniques including Nadi Shodhana pranayama, with sessions designed to calm the nervous system and balance energy at any time of day. The platform provides guided, instructor-led breathwork for stress relief and systemic balance. It is a practical, accessible resource for those building a home breathwork or meditation practice. Story 7. Mindfulness Therapy, Enhancing Wellbeing Through Present Awareness. This open-access clinical journal article examines MBSR and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, distinguishing their applications for stress reduction, pain management, and depression prevention. It provides a research-backed overview of how mindfulness therapies enhance overall well-being through present-moment awareness. The peer-reviewed framing makes it a credible resource for evidence-based mindfulness content. Story 8. Nadi Shodhana, Alternate Nostril Breathing for Focus and Mental Clarity. This post introduces Nadi Shodhana, Alternate Nostril Breathing, as a validated pranayama technique for promoting relaxation, focus, and mental clarity. It offers accessible step-by-step guidance on how to practice the technique, making it useful for beginners. The content connects ancient yogic breathwork with modern mental clarity goals. Story 9. Your brain changes after just 7 minutes of meditation. This YouTube digest covers 2026 research suggesting that even brief meditation sessions, as short as 7 minutes, can produce measurable changes in brain activity and neural pathways. It also includes a segment on yoga and mental health research, making it a broad overview of current mind-body science. The neuroscience framing is relevant to those interested in evidence-based meditation benefits. Story 10. Insight Inside Us, How the Dharma Inspires Mindfulness-Based Approaches, 2026. This 2026 program from Buddhist Inquiry explores the relationship between Buddhist Dharma and modern mindfulness-based approaches like MBSR, tracing the contemplative roots of secular mindfulness. It uses the 4 foundations of mindfulness as a teaching framework, offering a spiritually grounded yet non-dogmatic perspective on inner practice, ideal for practitioners seeking depth beyond technique. Story 11. Community can mean a lot of things. At some yoga studios, it means no boundaries. Yoga Journal examines how the concept of community in yoga studios can sometimes blur boundaries between students and teachers, despite good intentions. The article raises important questions about psychological safety, power dynamics, and ethical teaching in yoga spaces. It is a grounded, critical piece that supports safer and more conscious yoga community building. Story 12. How to Improve Concentration and Focus, 15 Research-Backed Tips. BetterUp compiles 15 evidence-informed strategies to strengthen focus and concentration, drawing on cognitive science and behavioral psychology. The article covers both practical habits and deeper skill-building approaches for sustained attention. It is a practical, accessible resource for those seeking to improve mental clarity and deep work capacity.